Shalom, shalom, everyone. Welcome to tonight's show. We got a good one for you tonight. I'm going to try not to have it be too long. And last time we was on there, it was like for over 2 hours. I said, wow, that's the longest I've been on there ever. I'm going to try to get this one down. Everything ready for this. So I say shalom to everyone out there. For those who don't know me, my name is Rosh Ya'acob ben Abraham. I am a rabbi at Gethsemane Spiritual Temple Congregation, and at our congregation, we focus on Torah, we focus on mitzvot and commandments, and things that we are to do to please the Almighty. So those are the things that we focus on there. And on this channel, we'll take different viral things, different things that people are discussing and talking about, and look at them through a Torah perspective so we can see what are you supposed to do in this situation based on the Torah. And as y'all seen from the title of this one, this is going to be one of those shows. We're going to jump in and tackle some stuff. I want to look at some different things through the Torah and get a clearer understanding on how we should be operating in these days and times. So I'll get a real clear cut on that. So buckle your seatbelts up, because we going in. All right, so we'll start off first. You know how we do. We have our breaking news. Then after our breaking news, we have the artist of the week. And then right after the artist of the week, we go into our main topic or our main subject for this evening, which is, I know, the main reason why many of you have logged on to really see what are we going to say about this situation right here. So I'm not going to hold you. I want to go and get into the breaking news. All right, so our breaking news tonight, we're going to start off by dealing with the story that really got to me. Yeah, I'm going to start off with that. I wasn't sure if I was going to start off right with this story, but I'm going to start off with this story, and then you will see how everything falls in line tonight, because we also going to have our Hebrew or our Israelite of honoring heroes within our community. So within the Hebraic or the Israelite community is a sister that we want to honor, and we want to talk about her as well. And then we're going to remember one of our fallen heroes or sheroes. But before we get to that, I wanted to deal with this situation right here.
Step out of the car. Step out of the car, dude.
Now, this older gentleman right here that we see with the mask and the gloves on was pulled over by the police. Matter of fact, he wasn't even pulled over by the police. He actually was in an accident with a big rig truck, right? An 18-wheeler hit him. And he's sitting there distraught. And we see from how he has the gloves on and a mask on that he's very, very Um, he's very, very caught up with the COVID and the spread of COVID and against that, which many of us nowadays just walk around without masks on and we feel like, oh, we don't got to do this, that, other. Most of y'all have jabs. I don't have a jab, but most of y'all have jabs. And y'all feel like your jabs is protecting you. So y'all don't care about this, right? But what I'm trying to give you some background on the story. This older gentleman cares about his health. And he's going to be telling this officer that you don't got no mask on. You're too close to me. Please back up away from me. And this cop is going to feel like he's kooky and why is he doing this, that, and the other. And you want to see what he does, right? And I'm going to get into it more once we play through.
Help me out the car. Step out the car!
In Minden, Louisiana, that driver is 58-year-old Ben Corals.
Step out the car! You can spray.
He was just rear-ended by a truck and has a pre-existing health condition that makes COVID especially dangerous.
So, we see the scenario. He was just hit by a truck. He has pre-existing conditions that make COVID very dangerous for him. And he's telling his officer, you're too close. You don't got no mask on. Can you back up away from me? And the officer does not care about any of that. He just wants him to comply and do what he's telling him to do. So we're going to hear him say stuff like, you're resisting, stop resisting, and all this dumb mess that they like to say while they on the camera. So it can make it as if you're really resisting and you're really doing all that stuff. So when they trump up the charges on you, they can add that to it. So let's go ahead.
On the ground! On the ground! Now! On the
You see
ground!
him push his
Put your
head.
hands behind your back!
Look at his head.
Oh.
He just pushed his head almost into the truck, right? This really ticked me off watching this.
Put your hands behind your back!
Oh, Jesus, no! No, son, please don't do me like this. I didn't do nothing. Oh.
Literally, he didn't do anything. He got hit by a truck. He's in the car. You supposedly coming over to make sure he's okay. He tells you when you open his door and start getting close to him, you're too close, you don't got a mask on. And this how you react, because you just want him to comply. He ain't supposed to want to protect himself. He around you, he just need to comply and just do what you want him to do.
I didn't do nothing.
I didn't do nothing, said Corals.
Look right here, Ed, I want you to see this. He's standing on the man's hand. Not only does he have a man on the ground that he pushed almost into the side of the truck that just hit him to get him on the ground. But now as he's bending a guy arm behind his back, he's now stepping on this brother's hand and on the cell phone. I guess trying to make sure he can't do nothing with the cell phone. So he's stepping on his hand and the cell phone.
That's true, legally, but these cops have hurt feelings and do not seem to care about the law. This body camera footage, obtained in its entirety by Rebel HQ, is at the heart of a newly filed lawsuit against the Minden, Louisiana police. The incident on February 1st...
And of course, Louisiana. But they do that stuff in Baltimore. They do stuff in New York. It's not just privy to them, but yeah, in Louisiana.
2022 began when Corals was driving less than a mile from his home. That 18-wheeler truck struck him from behind. According to the accident report, Corals committed no traffic violation and the truck driver had been following too closely.
So the truck driver was in violation. He was following too closely. He caused the accident, but yet the victim of the accident is now handcuffed and being arrested. Make that make sense. I wish they would show the truck driver. I bet the truck driver more than likely is not black. I almost can guarantee the truck driver is not black. Hey.
But instead of sympathizing with the crash victim and honoring his request to stay back, Officer Chris McLaren opened Mr. Coral's door.
Relax, relax. You have what, sir? You gotta stay your distance. You too close. You
Sir,
too close.
Calm
You
down.
too close.
Relax.
You too close.
Look, you trying to take this to somewhere?
No.
You don't have
You
to
too
be.
close. You ain't got no mask on. You too.
Now, he made it clear. He's telling him you too close. You too close. He says, sir, you going to make this go somewhere where it's not supposed to go. And he's saying, and he clarifies what he means. He says, I'm telling you, you don't have a mask on. You too close to me. That went over this guy's head. I'm trying to figure out why it went over this cop's head. For 2020, we was locked up for a whole year because of too close. 6 feet, gotta stay 6 feet away. Ain't that what it told us for a whole year? 2020, remember that? We was locked up in the house. Told that you can't go nowhere. Told that you gotta wear a mask. This is the world that this man apparently is still in, while this cop is thinking, oh, this is a new day. We all got shot, so we good. Evidently, this man didn't get a shot, or he feel like he's not good, and he wants you to back up. But for some reason, you can't comprehend that in your brain, or you didn't want to comprehend it in your brain.
Close. It's COVID out here. You too
He
close
said it's
to me.
COVID out here. You too
Please.
close to
No,
me.
you
He
chill
talking
out.
about chill out. Chill out.
Don't you do it.
You better get out my face.
Step out of the car. You're under arrest.
Then he tell him, step out of the car, you under arrest. He tell him, chill. Oh my goodness gracious alive, boy. That's what just boggles my mind. Like, dude, we not that far away from 2020. 2020, we was all locked in. 2021, they was trying to force people to get the jab. Remember that? Oh, so it's 2023, everything good now? Clowns.
For what? Step out of the car.
Step out of the car.
Why am I under arrest? You too
Step
close.
out.
That was said, why am I under arrest? For what? He's confused. What are you talking about?
The car. Do it now.
Help me get out the car.
Step out the car.
Car, you get sprayed. Get out of the car, you're gonna get sprayed.
Then he talk about get out the car, you gonna get sprayed. And then they actually spray the man. They see he got the mask on for COVID. They gonna spray the
Put
mask
your hands behind your back.
with the
Put your hands behind
daggone
your back.
Oh,
spray.
Jesus, no. No,
Terrible.
Fox, please don't do me like this.
Terrible.
I didn't do nothing. Oh, I didn't do nothing.
And this clown
Stop
family
resisting.
still working as well. They need to stop resisting. They always let us say that to try so they can say you resisted arrest. Gotta yell out, stop resisting. Even if you ain't resisting, gotta yell out, stop resisting, because that means you resisting arrest, and that's why I'm locking you up.
What is wrong with you, sir?
What's wrong with him? What are you talking
Hey,
about?
but you sitting here rolling the window up on me, trying to shut a door in my face.
Of course he trying to roll the window up and shut the door in your face, fool. You don't got a mask on.
All I'm trying to do is assess if you're injured or hurt, and you ain't giving me nothing but problems.
Because it's all about the officers.
It's all about them.
Do you remember hitting your head during the wreck?
I remember he hit his head on the side of that truck when you pushed him down. I remember that.
Oh, my eyes, man.
Yeah, that's what Mace does, man.
And you done sprayed mace in his face,
Just
mace
sit
on a
where you are
mask.
right
Now you gotta
And
take
just
the
don't
mask
move.
off
Just
and be
chill.
around you.
Just relax. All right? Probably. Which side do you want to roll on? You left or you right?
So I'm in pain. I just was in the accident the other day.
And he in pain. It's some clowns.
Come on.
So please don't
You
do
wanna
me.
roll on your left or your right side?
I don't know which way to go, sir. I'm hurting.
Alright, then we're gonna roll you on your left side so you can lean against your car.
Oh, son.
Dang.
Look at the mask. Look at all that pepper spray they sprayed on his mask.
Okay.
All right,
That's
you want me to
ridiculous.
take that mask off your face? It's covered in pepper spray.
that you put on there, dummy.
I just tried to protect myself. I understand, but he's covered in pepper spray.
Now you concerned about him breathing. No, none of y'all got masks for. Y'all just chilling.
Is this OPC right now or not?
He's under arrest. For resisting an officer?
How he resist the
Yeah, he
officer?
did.
Y'all just clown.
Just stay on your side for right now. Who else we got here right now? Hambone? Okay.
A few minutes later, EMTs arrived, and Officer McLaren described the scene.
All right.
Watch how you ride to the EMTs.
This guy, we got him on the ground in handcuffs over here. It looks like he was hit by this 18-wheeler in some capacity.
He was hit by
I
an
get here,
18-wheeler.
contact the 18-wheeler driver. I say, is everybody okay? He says, I'm good. I don't know about him. He won't talk to me. Kind of a red flag off the jump. I come over here to him. He's sitting in his driver's seat. Door closed, window up, mask, gloves. Isn't paying me any attention. Tap on the window, he rolls it down. I'm trying to, his behavior's so odd, I'm thinking, okay, maybe he got his head hit or something like that. He ain't having it. He rolls his window up on me, barely communicates. I open his door, and he starts flipping out. You're too close, you're too close. I don't know if we have an
Why he
argument
think he was
status
too close, fool?
from the get-go, or if he hit his head. He doesn't remember hitting his head. And then he tried to close his door back on me.
Yeah, let's
You too
rewind
close
it.
to me.
Chill out.
Please. No, you chill out.
Chill
Get
out.
You too close to me, please.
Now, don't you do it.
You better get out my face.
Step out of the car, you're under arrest. We pepper spray him, get him out the car, put him in custody. He's calmed down a little bit. Asked him if he's feeling any pain. He says, yeah, my eyes. Well, pepper spray. Yeah. But also the rest of his...
He just
said
say
his
yeah, his
back. But
eyes.
it's hard to get anything out of it.
And they go to
Benjamin
driver.
Quarles.
Like I said, let me rewind it. Let me see if I can rewind this. Like I said, I knew the
Quarles was
driver. The driver's white. If I'm looking at it correctly.
He said his back, but...
If I'm looking at this correctly, this right here is the driver. Hey, I'm happy to have you chilling. But the guy he hit is now in cuffs and going to jail for resisting. He resisted. When he told you he was too close to him, you ain't have a mask on. That's resisting. We really need to redefine what resisting is. So I don't have the right to say you too close to me, you ain't got a mask on. In the midst of COVID, the stuff that we was locked up for a whole year, couldn't get out our houses for a whole year, locked down the whole world for a whole year. But now I'm telling you, that's what I'm worried about. You, what's wrong? What's wrong with this guy? Get out of here. What are you talking about? What you mean you don't know what's wrong with him? What's wrong with you?
It's hard to get anything out of Benjamin Quarles.
Mr. Benjamin.
Mr. Quarles was taken to the hospital. Eventually, this crash victim had to go to the local jail to be processed for the charge of resisting arrest. It took a little while, but a prosecutor threw out the charge. Yes, even a local prosecutor understood that based on the crash report, arrest documents, and body camera footage, the claim that Mr. Quarles did anything legally wrong was absurd. As for the local Minden, Louisiana police, well, they are now facing some serious trouble.
Yes,
Louisiana
sue them.
attorney Todd Benson
Sue
is representing
the
Mr.
bricks
Quarles,
off
and
of
they recently filed a
Sue 'em.
federal lawsuit
Sue 'em,
against
sue 'em,
officers
sue 'em,
Chris
sue 'em.
McLaren, Chris Hammondtree, Chief Steve Cropper,
Sue all
and
of
the
them, all
city of
three of
Minden.
them.
The
Yep.
suit charges
Sue all
that
of
the
them.
police violated Mr. Quarles' civil rights and inflicted lasting physical and emotional damage. Legal experts say Mr. Quarles has an exceptionally strong case, and that the police will almost certainly fail in any attempt to shield themselves through qualified immunity. In other words, sooner or later, the city of Minden and its police are going to have to pay up, and it will not be cheap. Mr. Quarles apparently has lasting physical injuries from police
Yes,
throwing
he
him to the
do.
ground. And emotionally, one could understand if he's been permanently traumatized. Imagine being rear-ended by an 18-wheeler and then getting dragged out of your car and pepper sprayed because police didn't understand or care about your COVID vulnerabilities and thought you were being disrespectful or uppity or not like them.
Yeah, thought he was being disrespectful or uppity. And that's why I said all the time. And I'm standing by this until it happens. Why can't the police in real life be like the ones on TV. We love the ones on TV. I watch Law and Order. You know, I watch NCIS, CSI. What's the Dangerous Minds? I think that was the name of that one. All of them, right? Love them. All them cop shows and FBI shows and all that stuff, right? The ones on TV, they paint them, they such good heroes. Then you meet these dummies in real life. And you be like, what the world is going on here? You is nothing like the people on TV. Nothing.
Oh, and by the way, records show that police officer Chris McLaren was sued in another case within the past decade where he was ordered to pay punitive fines for excessive force.
So he's known to have excessive force, this guy. And he probably still working and knocking people in the head and doing stuff to him with a little dumb smirk on his face.
Ah, yes, a pattern. Over the past year, our channel has covered a variety of troubling police interactions. This latest incident in Minden is one of the worst. One can only hope that Benjamin Corals and his lawyer get justice and that the police in Minden, Louisiana are held accountable in dramatic fashion. I'm David Schuster. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, David. Thank you. Thank you for reporting that. Again, people, we are behind enemy lines. Keep that in mind. So you guys want to believe everything is so wonderful, like you on that or that movie Zippity Doo Dah Zippity Day and all that other mess. No, and you think to yourself, what a wonderful world. It's a wonderful world, but this stuff right here, yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, so that's the story that I came across this week that really got me. I said, man, this is ridiculous. I can't believe this right now. Cannot believe that this took place. And then also, it was another thing that I was reminded of that I meant to say something about last month, but now we're in August, but I said I'm not going to let it go by because we are in August. I said I'm still going to touch on it and deal with it. And that is what happened to our sister, Sandra Bland. Sandra Bland was killed. You know, that's the idea behind it. They try to say she committed suicide, but then many people looking at different things. They're like, no, she was killed or she died under their custody, and then they tried to set it up to look like it was suicide so they wouldn't take the blame for it. And again, it's all from a dumb traffic stop and a crazy cop, just like the one that did that to Mr. Quarles. Crazy cop feeling like he got the power and the right to do whatever he want to do. And we see what happened with that. So in honor of her memory, I wanted to just remind ourselves what happened to our sister and who she was. Because many times stuff that happened to sisters under the hands of police don't get the respect like it should, like what happened with our sister Breonna Taylor and others. So I want to just take time to just look at that. So I'm gonna bring up this clip right here with Sandra Bland so we can remember what happened.
I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez.
Well, last Friday, an African-American woman was returning home from a job interview in Waller County, Texas, when she was stopped by police. Apparently, she had improperly signaled a lane change. 2 days later, the woman, Sandy Bland, was found dead in a jail cell. A video taken by a bystander during the arrest shows Bland shouting that the officer had slammed her head into the ground.
And I wish they would have had the other video from the officer at this time, because it actually shows that he did do that. How he interacted with her and forced her to get out the car and she was like for signaling the wrong way. Like, what's going on here? He just did all this crazy stuff to her that ended up with her being dead in his custody, police custody. And then they tried to set it up as if it was a suicide.
According to police, Sandra Bland was taken into custody and charged with assault of a public servant. The next morning, police say she was found in her cell, not breathing from what appears to be self-inflicted asphyxiation.
Boom. Oh, man. I remember when I first heard this story, I was just like, wow, like, especially as they go back and recant the different stuff where she talked about this, and she actually made videos talking about this and what happens and the fear that black people have when they see the police or go do stuff with the police. So for this to take place in the way that it did, it was just like, wow. Like, it just was so crazy. And yeah.
The announcement was made by Waller County Sheriff Glenn Smith. Meanwhile, reports have emerged that Smith was fired from his previous post as chief of police of Hempstead, Texas, amidst accusations of racism.
And I want to rewind something. If you can see the whole video, she at not one time did anything to him, but they arrested her for attacking an officer. Exactly, Koji. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, stuff happening to you. Like, we always focus on the stuff that happens to the brothers, right? But stuff happened with the sisters as well, and this was just crazy. Like, I remember the older woman and the different stuff they did to her, and I was just like, what is going on here? It's just crazy, right? But yeah, so he wanted her to stop smoking. And then clearly for the video, she didn't do nothing to attack him, but she got arrested for attacking him.
Bland's friends and family contest Smith's account, saying the thought of her committing suicide by hanging is unfathomable. This is Cheryl Lanton and Lavon Moley, Bland's friends, followed by her sister, Sharon Cooper.
I do suspect there was foul play, and I believe that we all are 100% in belief that she did not do harm to herself.
Yes, we're very suspicious, and we're a very tight community, and we're very upset that this is happening, and it seems like there's nothing really being done about it.
Each one of us feels like we lost a part of ourselves, and it's hard. It's going to be hard for a very long time.
Sandra Bland was 28 years old. She was an outspoken member of the Black Lives Matter movement. She produced a series of videos called Sandy Speaks, in which she discussed social justice and racism on her Facebook page.
I want the white folks to really understand out there, black people are truly, we're doing as much as we can. Not all of us, but some of us are really doing as much as we can. And we can't help but get off when we see situations where it's clear the black life didn't matter. For those of you questioning why was he running away, well, because in the news that we've seen as of late, you could stand there, surrender to the cops, and still be killed.
Which is what happened to her. Think about that. It was like she was telling him exactly what happened. She surrendered. She was still calling him sir while he yelling and talking crazy to her. He slammed her head into the ground. I don't even think they got her medical attention. They took her straight to the jail. Then they found her unconscious. Oh, what we going to do? Let's string her up and say she hung herself. Get out of here.
Social media is now ablaze with people demanding answers about Sandy Bland's death. The hashtag Sandra Bland is now trending on Twitter, edging out the Emmys as a topic of discussion. We're still with Maya Shenwar, editor-in-chief of Truth Out, author of Locked Down, Locked Out, Why Prison Doesn't Work and How We Can Do Better. Her family, Sandy's family, Sandy herself is from Chicago, from Naperville. Maya, that's where we're speaking to you. Her family's gone to Texas today to retrieve her body. Can you comment on what we know at this point? We have this video, apparently, that's just been released of her saying, "Why are you slamming my head into the ground?" She's then taken to the local jail. That was a Monday, and then she is found dead in her cell.
Right. She spent 3 days in the jail, injured. Clearly, police had severely injured her. We don't know the very specifics of that, but we know she was slammed to the ground. The video shows she was severely injured and then left in this jail cell. And I think that definitely highlights something about our county jail system, that people who are still innocent, they haven't been proven guilty of anything, are left, until they can post bail, which was actually going to happen on Monday. Sandra's friends were about to post her bail. And I think the fact that we see this situation where this young Black woman is pulled over for a small traffic violation. She's thrown to the ground by police.
Thrown to the ground.
She's severely beaten and slammed into the ground. The police actually admonish the person who is filming this horrific scene, and she's taken to jail. And I think this demonstrates, earlier we're talking about prison reform as if it's cut off from policing. But again, policing is the gateway to prison. And policing cannot be separated from anti-Blackness. And I think this is just such a tragic and horrifying example of how that practice plays out in reality.
People often focus on the federal prison system, but the number of inmates in federal prison is dwarfed by those who are in county and state facilities. Mm-hmm. Could you? And what about the oversight in those facilities?
Yeah. So there are about 215,000 people in federal prison at this time, and there are around 2.3 million people incarcerated in the country as a whole. And so a lot of those are in state prisons. Again, state prison, a lot of people convicted of violent offenses. Those aren't people that Obama is addressing when he talks about this large-scale prison reform. And then we have 700...
Man, think about it. This was during a time when President Barack Obama, when Barack Obama was the president, right? We know clearly that those people that was against Obama, especially down in the South, was angry. Anybody Black, it seemed like you was going to get it. Then that trickled over when Trump got in office, and then people started saying, oh, so when it was happening under Obama, it wasn't the president's fault. It wasn't down there, right? Then when Trump got it off, oh, it's Trump's fault. And they used that as the Democrats used our pain and struggle of what we're going through as something to get Biden, the person who put the worst criminal bill ever in place, to be the president. And then later they tell us, oh, once he become the president, everything going to change. And he become the president, and it's still going on. As I told people, he gonna become the president, and it's still gonna be happening. Y'all out here, we vote, we gotta get him out. Okay, got him out. Right after he got out, and Biden got in there, it still was happening. And then I was right online saying, I thought when he got in office, this wasn't gonna happen no more. I thought when he got in office, all this stuff wasn't gonna happen no more. What is he doing about it? Nothing. Anything passed to stop their qualified amendment and all this other stuff that they got? No. But some bad stuff happened to the Asian community, and they got an anti-Asian hate bill like that. Boom, like that. We gotta fight this. We sitting there getting killed and dying by popo, and nothing happened. And it's still happening. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out.
150,000 people in county jails. And most of those people are incarcerated pre-trial. They haven't been convicted of anything. Most of those people who are in their pre-trial are there because they can't pay their bail. They're there because they're poor. And we have to remember this is also a racial justice issue, that people are given higher bails generally when they're Black. And so we have this many-pronged system, and addressing federal prison alone isn't going to cut it. So even though there is kind of more of a focus being zeroed in on federal prison, particularly since the president is speaking out to a certain extent, we can't forget that Obama can't do everything. And actually, the community level, the activism happening at the community level is really what's going to make those giant shifts.
You know, as you talked about, she was clearly severely injured. Even as she said that, why are you slamming my head against the ground? She also said, I can't hear. I can't hear. She's brought into the prison, and the county sheriff there, the Waller County Sheriff, Glenn Smith, who made the first public comments about Bland's in-custody death, had been fired from a past job for his actions involving alleged humiliation and mistreatment of young African-American males. In Hempstead, the place where he was the sheriff before, the city council placed him on probation for 6 months and ordered him to take anger management classes. He was later fired. Maya, we have 15 seconds.
So first of all, I would say, obviously, it's horrifying that this person is still in his job. Secondly,
a lot of them still in their
jobs. I would say that it's not always about an individual racist. This is an inherently racist system.
Yes, it
and
is.
We have to be careful, even though the sheriff obviously shouldn't have kept his job, we have to be careful not to term someone a bad apple and ignore the inherent anti-Blackness in the system as a whole.
Yes. Maya Shenwar, I want to thank you for being with us, editor-in-chief of Truth Out and author of Lockdown, Locked Out, Why Prison Doesn't Work and How We Can Do Better. She was joining us from Chicago.
All right. Well, always remember, always fight for justice, and just remember our Shiro. She did several things, wrote several things you can check out. I think it's still online. You might can find it where they did videos where people reposted the stuff that she said. And it's just sad. Just sad. Now, when sad stuff like that happens, it seems like there's nothing we can do. And there's one young lady that I actually know. She is still standing and fighting for her brother. And she is our hero, our hero in the community, our hero in the Hebrew community, Israelite community, someone that's standing and fighting and striving to bring about change, not only for her situation, but also for other people that go through stuff as a whole. And I want to bring up the video now.
It's been 4 years since Tyrone West died after police beat him for nearly an hour in North Baltimore.
Yes, you heard that. The police beat this man for almost an hour, this brother Tyrone West, and killed him, murdered him. And right up near 33rd Street in Greenmount. Tragic event. And his sister, Tawanda Jones, has been fighting it ever since. And on this video, it says 4 years. Now it's been, I believe, 8 years. And she does this thing where it's called West Wednesday, where every Wednesday they come out. And for the most part, it's up on 33rd area, 33rd and Greenmount. They set up and they began to speak out against police injustice and stuff that's happening in the community. There's been a lot of cases for the other people that she spoke out against and really helped them out in those different things as well. And this station did a story on her, and wanted to go ahead and look at that. But this is our Hebrew in a community that we giving a big ups to. And again, if you go anybody in a community that you want to give a big ups to because of different things that they're doing and because of the fight and struggles that they're going to, you can send an email to me with this person, name and information about them, and we will definitely feature them on the show.
Since then, his sister Tawanda Jones has held weekly protests to demand justice for Tyrone and details on how and why he died. But this week, both the city and state settled separate lawsuits brought on behalf of his children that pay out $1 million. But the money comes with a catch: silence, a so-called do not disparage clause that the city uses to keep victims of police brutality from speaking out. But
crazy, right? So they say, okay, we're going to give you this money. It's basically hush money. We're going to give you this money, but you can no longer talk about this at all. You can't mention it. You can't say nothing about it. And if you do, probably something in the clause where they can sue you or whatever they can do or what have you. But they try to give you this hush money. And yeah, this city is known for doing that with many cases. I remember one time when they just was going through the neighborhood, sweeping people up, locking them up for no reason. You could just be sitting on your steps. If you in a sweep, you get swept up with they call it a sweep. We gonna sweep the neighborhood. So imagine you out of your neighborhood because you just out there sitting on your steps. You can't sit on your steps. We gonna sweep you up with other people that might be doing illegal activities in your neighborhood. We gonna sweep all of you up and just lock all of y'all up. Now you got a record. And then in order for you to get your record cleared, you gotta sign a paper saying you're not gonna try to sue them or go after them. And you just gonna be hush hush about it. That was even without, they didn't even offer you money with that one. And the reason why I know about that was because my brother got swept up in something like that. And they took him off to jail because he was sitting on the steps. Not doing anything. And then said, oh, my bad. We don't want you to sue us, sign this paper. And we're going to expunge your record. But you got to sign this paper first saying that you ain't going to sue us. That's what the dude O'Malley was doing. The dumb black Democrats, because they so we Democrats, we love the Democrats, made him the governor after that. After doing all those crazy things he did, then he became the governor. Because we Democrats gotta vote Democrat, can't vote Republican. Stupid. But anyway, that's just the type of stuff that they do, the hush, hush, hush. In this case, is we're going to give you this money. We don't want you to talk about it. In that case, we're going to expunge your record of this as if it never happened, but you can't mention that it happened ever.
Jones, who removed herself from the suit, says she is not taking the money or keeping quiet, which is why her weekly protest continued on schedule. West Wednesday, number 209.
I believe now is number 522 was the just passed, and next week will be 523, I believe.
And first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. This is our 209th West Wednesday. But before we get started, as you see, the media's here, and I thank the media for coming. I appreciate you guys. I invited the media here for a reason. And it's because last night I actually saw my face, in a news article stating that the sister Tyrone West, Tawanda Jones, was a settlement hearing for my brother's brutal execution. So I want to be clear, and I want to set the record straight moving forward so everybody can know. Let's be crystal clear that Tawanda Jones did not settle for anything. This is public record that I actually took my name off as personal representative. As hard as that was to detach my name from my brother, that was like a hard moment, and from his kids. But it was something that I had to do. Because at the end of the day, we all know how the city of Baltimore works. They will not craft my language. They will not craft the way I talk or tell me certain things I can and cannot say, and I did not want to jeopardize his children's settlement. So that's why I detached myself away from it. I will never, ever settle for anything. I'm not going to set at the, let's be clear, I'm on the right side of justice.
Yes.
I'm on the side that want to see killer cops and cell blocks. I'm on that side.
The settlement comes amid a backdrop of tension in Baltimore over policing and the violence it engenders that has rocked the city since the death of Freddie Gray in police custody. In March, 7 officers were charged with planting evidence, racketeering, and abusing overtime. A body camera video that surfaced in July shows another group of officers planting evidence in an alley in order to charge an individual with drug distribution. Baltimore City residents have very little trust in the criminal justice system. No trust. Few know this feeling of distrust more than Tawanda. In 4 years, Tawanda has gained tremendous support from activists, residents, and other victims of police brutality. She has supported family members of those who have been slain by police like Anthony Anderson and Freddie Gray, as well as other victims of police brutality like Abdul Salam.
Oshay. I always like to remind us first, this the Energizer Bunny, y'all. This the Energizer Bunny of the movement of what we see that has happened and transpired here in Baltimore for the last 4 years.
Abdul Salam, who runs an organization that works with Baltimore City youth, was beat up by the same police officers in the same community in front of his neighbors while his child was in the car just days before Tyrone West's death. Tawanda continues to publicly call out the names of the police officers responsible for the death of her brother.
I'm still going after Latrice Nicole Lee, let's be clear. Danielle Lewis, let's be crystal clear. Derek Beasley, let's be clear. Alex Haggins, let's be clear. Eric Hilton, David Lewis from Morgan State University, Matthew Coffey, Bernardo Ruiz, Nicholas Killer, David Chapman. I'm going after y'all. I'm going in. I'm not going to talk about reform. I'm talking about you killer cops. And I'm not only going to call you killer cops, I'm going to call you some stinking animals. What you did to my brother and my family, you have torn the family forever. I don't know what to say to his kids. It ain't about no damn income. It's about the outcome.
The $1 million settlement will go to West's children, with $600,000 of it coming from the city of Baltimore and another $400,000 coming from the state of Maryland. But Tawanda says no amount of money is enough, especially after seeing over $1.2 million offered to a family in May. A family whose dog was shot and killed by Anne Arundel County Police.
So the family Doug gets shot and killed, and they get off of 1.26 million. Our brother was only worth 1 million. Let that one sink in. The Doug life. And that's how they feel. Like, the Doug. Oh my goodness. You kill a Doug, it's the end of the world. The Doug.
A Caucasian family was in that same damn room, at that same damn table, and they offered them $1.2 million for their animal, a dog. A dog's life. You trying to tell me a dog's life is worth more than my brothers and my sisters and brothers on the street? And you actually think I'm going to sit there and continue on hearing the conversation? Take me off right now.
I asked Tawanda if she would continue fighting for justice for her brother.
Yeah, she gonna fight.
Her response?
Hell yeah.
That's right.
For the Real News Network, this is Easy Jackson.
All right, so our sister right here, Wanda Jones, still fighting to this day, been doing big things in the community. Want to big her up, give her props. Unfortunately, this came about because of the death of her brother, but just knowing that she's out there just doing what she's doing is powerful enough. It shows that it is people out here doing something. Now, you can't just sit around and just something happen. You just sit around and just let it go. You got to do something. You know, this is a case of someone doing something. And just want to give big ups to our sister right here, Tawanda Jones, and for all that she's doing in the community. Yeah. And I got a link in a page in the description. So y'all can look back at this as a link in the description, or if it's not in there now, it will be in there by the time this broadcast ends. And it's actually for this this organization that I found, and I'm probably highlight them next week, that that fights for injustice, all kind of injustice, but especially police injustice. So now we got groups out there now that's setting up, beginning to fight against this type of stuff, you know, to help in these type of cases, to get you lawyers and stuff. Because I remember years ago, especially here, lawyers used to be scared to go after the police for anything. They just wouldn't do it. You come at them and say, hey, they did this to me, that to me. Sorry, you're still alive. Say crazy stuff to you like that. You be like, huh? But they did this, they did that, right? And I wish this organization would have been around years ago when I had different things that happened in my life. Because, yeah, those dudes need to pay. So this organization is called what is the name of this? Oh, let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up this organization and what it's called. I want y'all to know about this. All right. This organization is called Institute for Justice. Institute for Justice. And I got their webpage information in there. And I got underneath it said, if you need help to fight against police or social injustice, contact these guys. So this is an organization that I found that can help. And if I find any other organizations that can help fighting against this type of injustice, then I will definitely put them. But until the police can be like the ones we see on TV, and we need to be able to fight against that type of injustice that's floating around. Because this is ridiculous. And I'm proud of this young lady for doing what she's doing in the community. Like I said, she's been doing this for 8 years straight now, going on 9. And every Wednesday, West Wednesday, just big up to her speaking out and shedding light on the things that's happening in our community. All right, so yeah. So what we're gonna do now is get into our artist of the week. There's a new artist of the week for this week. Shlomo ben Yisrael, or as he says, Solomon ben Israel, or Solomon the Jew. And this is a song that he made, and I was like, wow, it's got a hip hop flavor to it, and I was just like, wow, this is nice. So this young man is doing big things. Song is kind of old. I try to get as much information as I could about him, but I'm gonna go ahead and play that for you. Artist of the week.
Yeah. One time for Israel. It's all over the Savior Jesus Christ.
Let's get it out. Seed of the king. I sprang out of Judah. Please don't misinterpret my aggression. For hatred toward my people.
I don't hate the people.
We got some work to do. My people, they need some direction. These rappers is lying, our leaders is weak, man, it ain't no question. Who got the answers though? We the Israelites, we got the answers though. Daily in our scripts, but we not no actors though. We really got the verses, ain't your passive though. We really the prophets. Boy, you cannot stop this. Keep the commandments on doubt, it's no option. Chosen by God, I'm not trying to die here. Tell me your nationality. I tell you mine, yeah. Heart of a lion, yeah. Made up my mind, yeah. I really made up my mind, yeah. I got no doubts in my mind. Said it before. You better get yourself together. Being a dummy just ain't cool. Giving solutions, the Bible's an answer. Christ said we his sheep. You know we amongst those. Your pastor, he act like he prophesied. He really be out here prophesying. He only knows scripture at time. Touching the boys, he inside of mine. Christmas a lot. Easter a lot. They say that New Year's in the dead of the winter. The Bible say different. Do we trust the men or in God? I mean, who do we really believe in? I don't know about you, but I had to give my life to the Lord. They out here teaching lies and people don't know where to turn or where to go. We on the corners out teaching. It's something that you need to know. We've been restoring the people fighting every day to say the so.
Hey, shalom, Aki, shalom, Aki. Yeah, glad to see you on here. About to get it started. That was our artist of the week, Solomon ben Israel. Solomon ben Israel. Nice song, power behind the song. If you like hip hop, and you definitely would like that joint right there. I first listened to that joint a few times. I try to get more information about the brother like I do for all of the artists of the week, but I really couldn't find much on him. I looked at it, saying I believe I might actually be friends with him on Facebook. I was like, wow, right? What's the odds of that? But I'm not sure if it's him or not. So, but powerful song. I got his SoundCloud information in the description for the show. So if you want to find out more about him, then you can check it out. Or if you want to hear more of his music, you can check him out as well. So that is our artist of the week. And now we're going to get into why you are here, right? What is going on with everyone? You know, what are you here for, right? Thou shalt not, right? We're gonna get into that. Thou shalt not do what? Well, if y'all seen those people on the picture, y'all know exactly what the thou shalt not is. And I put together a video where I kind of edited and spliced some stuff together between because it was 2 videos that I seen that dealt with this issue with these guys, and I had some things that I wanted to say about it. And one was a video from our brother Oshay Duke Jackson. He always does a good job. Big up to him, and keeps people well informed with stuff that's happening in the community and all around. And he's kind of funny. At least I think he's funny. Some people might don't like his sense of humor, but I know I got a corny sense of humor, so I think he's kind of funny. And also the sister that I just found out about, called Black Girl Speaks, and she did a good video on him as well. So I looked at their videos and I said, wow, I want to talk about stuff that they said, both of them are saying in the videos. I said, you know what, I'm going to edit it and put this stuff together, and then I can talk about both of them at the same time. As he say, hit 2 birds with 1 stone, right? So that's what we're about to do, about to hit these 2 birds with 1 stone and deal with this issue of thou shalt not. Thou shalt not what? Thou shalt not commit adultery. That's what the thou shalt not is. All right, so with no further ado, we're going to get into this clip. And I believe we should finish in time, and everything should be done in a good time. So, because I think when I edited this clip together, it was only 8 minutes. So we're going to see how this goes. So let me get it on the right thing. So let's go back to it.
Of course, I have weighed in on the Adam 22 situation with him pretty much, letting his wife getting pounded out by Jason Love. His wife is also Caucasian.
Yes, you heard this correctly. If y'all didn't know what the situation was, this guy right here named Adam 22, and you can't really tell from looking at his jacket here. I wanted to kind of expound on that, but I said I don't want to get too deep in that. But he actually has the Baphomet on his jacket. If he were to zip the jacket up, you would see the goat and the 5-point star right on his jacket. And I was like, wow, he really got a jacket with that on it? Okay. But this guy right here decided that he's going to let he allowed his wife, he sanctioned it, he put it together for his wife to have sex with another man. You might be saying, well, why are we talking about this, right? The reason why we're talking about this, because this thing kind of went viral all throughout YouTube and other places where people who normally wouldn't even talk about this type of stuff is talking about it. So, and I'm gonna let Oshay finish saying what he's saying, but I just wanted you to just get the gist of that.
Something like that. Jason Love is black.
What happened was Lena the Plug and Adam 22 recently just got married.
All right, so let's point this out. I want y'all to hear how he put this, because I think by me talking, I kind of overshadowed it.
pretty much, letting his wife getting pounded out by Jason Love. His wife is also Caucasian, something like that. Jason Love is black.
All right, now Oshay is going to come from this from a whole different viewpoint than how other people looked at it, and I was like, wow, like he really turned it on a whole other way, because everybody was more focusing on how this guy Adam 22 was a simp, and he was calling him other words, and different names and stuff like that, and he took it to a whole other perspective that I think we get clear as we watch it. But if you notice how he pointed out that Adam and his wife are white, and this guy Jason is black, and that's going to really feed into this dynamic. Now we're going to hear Black Girl Speaks perspective.
What happened was Lena the Plug and Adam 22 recently just got married. They have a daughter together, and they do OF content, adult content with other women. But the big controversy was when he came out, did an interview stating that she was going to do her first scene with another man.
All right, now, so the whole thing is crazy because these are adult stars, and most of the time, whatever they doing in their little lives, we wouldn't know anything about. So my radar went up because I'm like, why are we hearing about this, right? Sort of remind me of the days when Jerry Springer. Remember the days when Jerry Springer and all those others just kept letting us hear about these different alternative lifestyles. And now today everybody accepts and says, oh, it's okay. But during that time, it was taboo. It's like, oh my goodness, what are you talking about? Why are we saying this? Right? And it's just put it in your face, put it in your face, put it in your face. So I want you to keep that in mind because that's where I'm coming from with it. So we got 3 different perspectives that's going to be dealing with this one issue. And I'm going to try to tie all 3 together with the Torah.
With a man by the name of Jason Love, who is well known in the corn industry as having a BBC. So this scene was going to create lots of money for them.
I want you to remember that. The reason why, that she did point that out, as Oshay is going to point out, but Oshay is going to go more in depth. But the reason why this guy is doing this guy, Adam 22, is even doing this and considering this, is because it puts him in a position to make a lot of money. That's what this is about, making a lot of money. So this kind of put me in a mindset of something that happened years ago. I remember when this movie called Indecent Proposal came out. And in this movie, Indecent Proposal, it was a similar type of topic where in the movie, I think it was Demi Moore and Robert Redford was like the rich guy, and then you had Woody Harrelson that was like he was her husband, and he was poor, and this guy made them a proposal that was crazy, where he said, I'll give you this crazy amount of money if you let me be with your wife. Yeah, that was crazy within itself. And it brought up a lot of talk. Well, a lot of people are gonna say, well, what would you do? What would you do if that was you? Would you allow that to happen? How would you feel? And everybody gave their view on it. And it was like a big topic at the time that it happened. As people talked about it, was really, really a big topic. So that's what this sort of reminded me of when as I heard Oshay speak about it and talk on it, and even from what Black Girl Speak says.
So this scene was going to create lots of money for them. That was the goal.
Suppose I were to offer you $1 million for one night with your wife.
Now, I always have told you, brothers, that white people love monetizing black folks.
Now, look at how Oshay is looking at this. Oshay is looking at this as black people getting exploited. He's going to take his scenario, he's going to break it down. And that's how he's looking at this right here.
Shout out to Brother George Macon, because he made this one point. You see it in hip hop. They monetizing your voice. In fashion, they monetize that. They even monetize you in music and movies. It's something that white people have learned about blacks. Whatever that they create, we can somehow steal it from them and make money off of it. This is the truth. All right? And even
now, as he said that, you think about it, you can kind of think like, Daddy, do you haven't known it? Know that happened? Think about all the music artists and all these different people that get these bogus contracts too and all this stuff. Like, really think about this, right? You know, hey, as he's breaking down his understand, I'm like, okay, I got you, right? But it gets deeper.
And so far as your natural resources, if we're talking about Africa, they can take that too. Your black businesses, they can take that too.
Over the weekend,
Something like that happened.
she filmed her first ever scene with another man.
I know you was mad. You was angry.
I agreed to it, so I wasn't. I say angry might not be the word.
All right, cut. That's your shit.
So, listen to what he's saying. They thinking this, because this how we that they got understanding will look at the brother like what? Like you was angry. I wasn't angry. I sanctioned it, right? I put it together. I'm not angry. Like, think about what Oshay said. This is about money. I'm not. He just felt weird after it happened, but yeah, he wasn't angry, right? So he says.
You know, I agreed to it. She gave me a lot of outs on the way in. Like, she
Yeah.
kind of kept telling me, like, if you don't want me to, I won't do it.
Now, I put this together like this to be smart. Watch this. He gonna say she gave him outs and all this. Watch this. I'm sorry. I had to do it.
She filmed her first ever scene with another man.
I know you was mad. You was angry.
I agreed to it, so I wasn't. I say angry might not be the word.
All right, cut. That's your shit.
You know, I agreed to it. She gave me a lot of outs on the way in. Like, she
Yeah.
kind of kept telling me, like, if you don't want me to, I won't do it.
Guys, guess what I'm shooting with today?
See, you're excited about
Finally happening. Wow, I did not know you were going to do that.
You know, I said that I wanted her to do it. I'm like,
on top of millions of dollars, Adam. You didn't do that.
no, but
That's a fact. He didn't have to do that ish.
What would you say?
He'd tell you to go to hell.
I didn't hear him.
I tell you to go to hell.
Sure you would. Look how he's smirking. He know he obeyed that. Look how oh my goodness, all about the money. All about the Benjamins, huh?
told her, I'm like, I think you should do it. Let's get it out the way.
So how do you five about it now?
So I've been with my girl for 7 years. We just got married. We're not in an open relationship, but.
Do you think that you were the biggest that she's ever had?
I'm pretty sure it was the biggest she had in the last 7 years.
Like, was she running from the...
Well, obviously, yeah.
Wait a damn minute.
And black men, a lot of times, we base our...
Yeah. Yeah, I put that together that way because I wanted to show the craziness behind this, right? And the disrespect. And it's supposed to be somebody who was his friend. He points out 7 years. Why? Because as you just see, how long was he with his wife? For 7 years. Disrespectful. And watch how Oshay breaks this part down.
Success on sexual ability, charisma, and athleticism. And white men understand that.
All right, so let me rewind it back because I was talking and y'all might didn't hear what Oshay said.
And black men, a lot of times, we base our success on sexual ability, charisma, and athleticism. And white men understand that. That's why they don't mind paying somebody to see LeBron James dunk on folks. They don't mind watching Lamar Jackson run around on the Ravens and throw the ball. They're entertained by you, but they don't respect you.
And I'm friends with this guy. I'm cool with him. You know, I feel like it's something that I'm probably gonna get. I'm gonna progressively get more used to it. You know, more okay with it. But I'm not gonna lie. Like, I ended up actually like feeling a little bit more emotional turmoil. Did you talk with her
about it? Like,
Do you think that you her better than Adam did?
Well, obviously, yes. But I'm pretty sure he probably felt different with Adam for her because love is involved emotions. But as for the physical aspect of getting, obviously.
It was sex, David. Just sex, not love, just sex.
And was it good sex?
Don't do this, David.
Can you just tell me that, Dee? Was it good? What are you hesitating for? Just tell me. Was it good? Was it good? Was it good?
Yes.
Adam 22.
All right, now let's look at this whole thing because the whole story is crazy, right? Number one, we all know this is against Torah. We ain't got. We gonna go there. We gonna go there. I'm gonna go there. So let's go to the scriptures. We won't go there. But we know this is against Torah, right? You just go to Exodus, chapter 20. We just go straight there and start it off. Exodus chapter 20. In the 10 Commandments. Even Christians who don't believe that you got to keep the Torah, even they still hold on to certain parts of the 10. They might don't want to run with the Sabbath, but certain parts of the 10 Commandments, even they still hold on to, right? And we see right here, commandment, this commandment right here, let me see which one out the 10 is it? Because I'm thinking about the mitzvot. This first commandment, second commandment, third commandment, fourth commandment, fifth commandment, sixth, the seventh commandment, right? The seventh commandment out of the 10 commandments. Now, of course, if you count about the 613 commandments, then that's not the seventh commandment. But if you just going by the 10 commandments that was on the tablets, this is the seventh one. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not commit adultery, right? So, in other words, you cannot have relations with someone's wife. Can't do it. Can't do it, right? This is wrong. Now, we know there's been many times we go to the Bible and we point out stuff that's wrong. But nowadays, people are doing those things, right? Why? Why can we go to places in the Bible where it says stuff like a man lying with another man as is with a woman and all this kind of stuff, and it points this out as stuff that you're not supposed to do, right? But nowadays, people are doing it and making excuses as to why they should be able to do it. That's what people are doing. People get mad. You're listening to that old book, right? Now it becomes this old book, this relic. You listening to that? And people get upset about it. But the thing was in people's face. From Jerry Springer and all those other different shows and stuff on TV and little scenes in movies that didn't have to be in there, just pop up in a movie. You're like, wow, this in this movie. This movie don't got nothing to do with this. And it just pop up in TV shows. Don't got nothing to do with it. Boom, is this in the show. Bam, in your face. This is all to desensitize you. That even if you don't agree with it, you would just be like, okay, that's them, that's their life, that's just how it is, right? And just move on. So that it tries to normalize something. And it's not just to normalize it for us and our generation. It's more to normalize it for the youth that's growing up. Because to the youth growing up, it's really no big deal, right? To us, we see it like, oh my goodness, what's happening? Youth is like, what you talking about? This is how they live. Like, what? And I'm looking at this situation as something that could spin off in the same way, because how it's taken off throughout the community, throughout the community, just went viral everywhere. People that don't even know me talk about this stuff is talking about it. So I say, okay, well, if they talking about it and it's becoming this point, then I need to remind us of what it says in the Bible. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Point blank and simple. It's right there. Now, I know what some of you might say in Christendom, because I had this argument with many people before. Well, what about when a woman was caught in adultery? And Mashiach said, he who without sin. Do you got sin? You got sin, don't you? Well, you can't cast the stone. It said, he who without sin cast the stone. And all those guys, they just threw their rocks down and walked off. And you like, first off, you don't even understand what you read. I don't mean to be disrespectful. You're not even getting it right. They got text in the scripture where it talks about the husband who suspects his wife of adultery, and he can't even prove it, right? He just got a spirit of jealousy. Let's talk about this. Let's point this out. I'm going to point the different stuff out, right? Let's point this out. Hold on. I'm going to find this real quick. We're going to point this out. Because I think we losing sight on this. You got the brother with the spirit of jealousy. Let me find that for y'all. All right. So I believe it's in Numbers. And it's the 5th chapter. And it starts at verse 14. And look what it says. It's talking about concerning unfaithful wives, right? It says, and Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, say to them, if a man's wife go astray or behaves unfaithful towards him, and a man lies with her carnally, and it is hidden from the eyes of her husband, and it is concealed, that she has defiled herself, and there was no witness against her, nor was she caught. If the spirit of jealousy comes upon him, and he becomes jealous of his wife, who has defiled herself, or if the spirit of jealousy comes upon him, he becomes jealous of his wife, although she has not defiled herself. So now we got two aspects, right? But I want you to see that in both instances, is the husband is supposed to be jealous with just the thought of his wife being with another man. But here, we're going to see as we progress with this, that this is showing us something different. And it was what Oshay brought out different points about different things. That's what made me begin to look at this and say, well, wait a minute. You know, because this started reminding me of the sex tapes. Remember how Kim Kardashian became famous because of her and Ray J in that tape, and how they just blew her up. You know, and then other people tried to copy and say, hey, I'm going to make a tape and let it leak out, and I'm going to blow up too. And this just became something where people mimicked this crazy behavior. You know, and unfortunately, as O'Shea's going to point out, that's just something that happens with us. Different people do different things, and we sit back and try to mimic what they did. Instead of making our own minds up about something, we try to mimic what they did. But I just want you to see this. This is not something that's supposed to happen, right? But now we get to the situation with the Mashiach. As I said, people always bring it up. And we're going to go there. I'm going to go there before we go further. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go with what people bring up about the Mashiach, where they try to say, well, he said, he who without sin cast the first stone. And how you want to cast a stone? You without sin, you sin, right? We're gonna focus on that. So let me see. He who is without cast the first stone. All right, so let's go to John, because that's where that's at. We gotta deal with this, and I want to bring this to light too, because there's a lot of people that don't understand scripture and they try to run with this because they think, okay, I got you. All right, and then you like, no, you don't got me, but okay, you believe you got me, but you don't got me. All right, so look at what it says. It says, but Yahshua went to the Mount of Olives. Now, I will show you the version where it actually says Yahshua, but I don't want nobody to say, you're not showing it through my Bible. Your Bible say something different. And so I want to make sure you can see this similar to your Bible. So you can't say I'm showing you something outside of it, or I'm showing you something different. We're going to go right through this verse together. Now, early in the morning, he came again to the temple, and all the people came to him, and he sat down and taught them. Look at what it says in verse 3. Then the scribes and Pharisees brought to him a woman caught in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they said to him, Teacher, this woman was caught in adultery in a very act. Now, Moshe in the Torah commanded us that such should be stoned. But what do you say? Now, notice what it says in verse 6. It says, this they said, testing him, they might have something which to accuse him. So this was a trick. But Yahshua stooped down and wrote on the ground with his finger as though he did not hear them. So he knows you try and trick me. Y'all think y'all slick. I'm not going for this. Now, there's several things wrong with this picture. Anyone who knows Torah, who's been studying mitzvot, should automatically know what's wrong with this picture. Number one, were they supposed to bring this woman to the Mashiach? Now, through Christendom, they would say yes, because he's the Messiah. He's supposed to judge on this stuff. They was not supposed to bring this woman to him. Only the Beit Din, only the court Only the house of judgment can decide her fate. It's not for an individual to come and say, oh, I'm going to decide the fate of this person. Only the house of judgment can decide her fate, right? But they brought her to the Mashiach to ask him what he thought. So automatically he knows this out of order. This is not how it's supposed to be done. We remember even in the case with the person that he cured of being a Metzora, who had the terrible illness of Tasara'at, which turns your skin white, and you had these legions and stuff in your skin that was sadly mistranslated as leprosy, right? But it's actually Tasara'at, which is a deadly form of vitiligo. Now, what did he say in that situation? When the guys was clean, he told them, show yourself to the priest. Why? Because the Torah says that they supposed to show themselves to the priest. They can't just say, oh, we clean now, and go about being around people. They got to go to the priest. The priest got to look at them, shut them up for 7 days, look at them again and say, oh yeah, now we pronounce that you clean. The Mashiach couldn't just tell them you clean, go on with life. That's not how it works. Everything has to go according to how the Torah has it set up, right? So in this situation right here, because I know it's people that will say, well, you can't really talk about what's going on with them because he who out sin cast the first stone, right? Number one, this whole thing was wrong. So, number one, this whole thing was wrong, right? When if you look at it carefully, it says, let's point out another thing that's wrong. Who is the one that's supposed to bring her to before the judges? Even for what we just read in the account in Numbers, the person who brings her before the judges is not random people that seen her. It's not random people that seen her that bring her before the judges. Her husband brings her before the judges. Her husband brings these accusations against her. Her husband has in the power, the right to either bring her before the judges knowing that she will be stoned to death, or to put her away secretly where she would be punished, she'd be sent from his house, had to fend for herself, can never marry anybody else, and just live in exile, right? That's what putting away is. You sending them from your house, but you're not giving them a bill of divorcement. So they caught in limbo. They can't marry nobody else because they still married to you. So they can't marry nobody else. And on top of them not being able to marry anybody else, now the stuff as far as you taking care of them, all that, they got to fend and do all this stuff for themselves now. That's called putting them away. The husband did that. Not random Pharisees and scribes and sages just grab you up and say, we got you. We going to do all this stuff to you. So number one, that's out of order. And we're going to see the Mashiach is going to bring that up later where he's going to ask her, where's your accuser? The accuser is supposed to be her husband. He's saying, where's your husband to accuse you? Well, let's look at. So several things wrong with this, right? Number one, they wasn't supposed to bring her to him to decide anything. So by him deciding, let's say he would have ruled and said, yeah, she deserved to die, right? They said, well, you out of order because Torah say only the judges can do that. Who gave you the power to be the judge, right? Who gave you the power to say you can do it? You out of order. Wait a minute, you out of order because only the husband. So you got to understand the law so you can know how they think and what they trying to catch them in. Clearly they trying to catch them in something. That's why it says they said this testing him that they might have something which to accuse him. What was they going to accuse him of? Of being harsh? That was the law. They was right. The Torah says that. So that wasn't what they was going to accuse him of. What was they going to accuse him of? So what they was going to accuse him of was being in violation of practicing judgment when he's not a judge. He's not a judge recognized by them as no judge. You can't say, well, he's the Mashiach, so he is the judge. So that's how Christendom looks at it and tries to run away with it. Well, he's the Mashiach, so he is the judge. He's the true judge. Okay, I got you. I hear you. But in this case, as he points out in Numbers, as he even points out later when he talks about being a king, he says, my kingdom is not of this, not of here, because if it was, y'all wouldn't be able to do this to me. When they point out in the book of Hebrews that he couldn't be a priest on earth because we had the Aaronic priesthood already, right? Those things are pointed out. But they overlook all that and say in this point he could be the judge. No, that's what they wanted to catch him at. As soon as he would have pronounced judgment, I can accuse you because you can't do that. And also, we not a husband, so we don't even got no right to bring her before anybody anyway. We don't have the right to do that. So these are different things that happen. So look at what it says. It says, Joshua stooped down and wrote on the ground with his finger, as though he did not hear them. Right? As though he did not hear them. So when they continued to ask him, so in other words, they like, look, I know you hear us. Hey, what should we do? What should we do? They thinking we got him now. Because if he say she don't deserve to die, then he show that he not good with judgment, because it says a woman who commits adultery is supposed to die. As another thing that's missing too. The person who commits adultery with her is supposed to die. Where the man at that was with her? Some argue by them saying they caught her in a very act that they themselves was with this woman. And that's why he said, he who was out sin cast the first stone. He's basically saying, I know y'all was the ones that was with her. So if y'all say she deserved to die, then y'all deserve to die too. Not just her, y'all too. Right? But look, they kept asking him. It says he raised himself up and said to them, he who is without sin among you guys. So now, the idea is, why does he say it in that way? Is he saying it that way because he know that they are the perpetrators that was with her? How did they catch her in a very act? People don't be outside having relations. So to catch her in a very act, y'all had to be right there where she was at. How you catch her in a very act? See, these are questions that's not asked by people who want to try to throw the Torah away. People want to try to throw the Torah away. They don't ask these questions. How did they catch her in a very act? People don't be right out in public, just having relations in public like that, especially during those days, especially knowing that she's a married woman. So it had to be something that was done in some secluded area that all these guys just happen to be. So look what he says is, he who is out sin among you, let him throw a stone at her first. And look, they're going to see that they had the rocks in their hands, right? It says, and again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground. Now, he didn't pronounce any judgment. Now, some say, well, he touched their hearts. And he touched their hearts and they realized that they had sinned too. Okay, that could be the case. Or he knew that they was the ones who had sex with her. He's saying y'all just as guilty as her. Right? He says that, he stoops down, start writing on the ground again. Then those who heard it being convicted by their conscience. What convicted them in their conscience? Was they convicted in their conscience because they say, okay, we all sinners, we all broke Torah? Or was they convicted in their conscience because they said, dang, we was the ones who had sex with her? What was the conviction they had in their conscience? But whatever it was, they went out one by one, beginning with the oldest even to the last. And Yahshua is left alone and a woman standing in the midst. Now listen to what Yahshua says. When Yahshua raised himself up and saw no one but the woman, he said to her, woman, where are those accusers of yours? Now, let's look at this, because this is the New King James. I'm trying to make sure it was plural or not. Okay, so he says, woman, where are your accusers? Where are those people who tried to accuse you, say that you did something, right? And look at what she says. She says, woman, where are those accusers of yours? Has no one condemned you? Has no one threw a stone at you to kill you? You still here? She said, no, Rabbi. Then Yahshua said to her, neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. Now, this is the most misunderstood passages about it. Because they said, well, okay, he didn't condemn her. Number one, he wasn't in a position to condemn her. This wasn't a court thing. He wasn't in a position to condemn her, right? So, and on top of that, look what he says. He says, go and sin no more. He don't tell her you can continue to sin. Just ask for forgiveness. Nobody can't say them to you because they sin too. He tells her, go and sin no more. Right? Go and keep the Torah. Because what's sin? Sin is the violation of the Torah, the transgression of the law. The transgression of the Torah is sin. So he tells her, go and sin no more. He didn't just let it go. You shall not commit adultery. This was wrong. And I don't want this to be like the sex tape. I don't want this to be like the different movements that emerge where people look at this and feel like this is the next thing to do. Now you're going to say, come on, Ya'acob. People not going to think this is the next thing to do. Well, let me finish, let you hear how our brother Oshay breaks this down. I'm going to let you hear Oshay break this down.
Is the #1 search person on Pornhub.
Now, he is the #1 search person on Pornhub. Why? Because they searching him so they can see this tape with his wife and this black man. That's what they searching for. He's #1. In other words, he's making a lot of money. So this might make other people think, oh, I could do that too and make money, right? That's how you had stuff like OnlyFans and all that kind of stuff pop up, right? Because people feel like, oh, I can do this and make some money. I'm saying for our community, we can't get caught up in this. If this is the next thing to go viral, the next thing for people to run with, we can't get caught up in this. As it says, come out of her, my people. And like I said, if you find this picture of him online and you get this picture, you look at this picture of him, you'll see this jacket he has on, and you can see very well it has the Baphomet on it. We don't want to be like this guy. Right? We don't want to be like him. I'm going to let Oshay finish up. Watch what Oshay says, right?
Search person on Pornhub.
Number one search person.
Jason Love has said so many white men have inboxed him about having sex with their wife. Basically, they want Jason Love to come in and screw their wife while they watch. Adam 22 owns everything.
Now, again, so I'm not making this up like this something crazy. This is what these people want, right? Oh my goodness. So I'm not making this up or nothing crazy, right? This is what these people want. Oh, my leg.
He don't care if you sleep with his wife. They're both porn stars. That ain't nothing for him. He don't care about that. In fact, you come bang my wife and let's get the whole social media talking about it, and I'll make more money than you. Adam 22 that monetized black men in hip hop.
Listen to what he said.
Now he gonna monetize the black man's penis, and he'll use his wife to achieve that.
This is the ultimate goal for him, right? And he's pointing all this out. Everybody looking at this from a whole other angle. Oshay, like, hold up, y'all missing it. Let me put you down with the game of what's happening.
That's why white folks run the world. Because of how they think. You see that? That's why the white man is who he is. He is, as I heard somebody say, the apex predator.
I was kind of surprised because I feel like I can intellectualize it, and from my perspective,
intellectualize it.
I don't think it should be a big deal. Yeah. But then after she actually did it, really? I'm not gonna lie, I did feel kind of odd.
Yeah, because it's not natural. We're not supposed to do that, especially if we're married.
Look at that feeling in the belly.
They are our cultural parents. How we dress.
Think about this. Now, Oshay is breaking down what I fear might pick up amongst our people, right? Because these guys influence so much about us, how we dress, everything, right? Watch how Oshay break it down.
Especially if we're married.
Look at that feeling in the belly.
They are our cultural parents. How we dress.
How we dress.
Whenever you see a black man in a suit, that's the white man.
It's the white
in
man.
Brand new shoes, top hat, that's the white man. Okay? So they teach you how to live, what are your rules of engagement, how to do business, and even how to have sex.
When a man loves you, truly loves you, he does not want to see you with another man.
Now, this is what I would press out is what the sister's saying. The man loves you, he treats you, he don't want to see you with no other man. We seen that in the Torah. What it says, talked about the brother, if the woman ever did it or she didn't do it, he just thinks she did it. He can bring up before the judges and he can do all this, that, and the other, right? To try to find out the truth. Because a spirit of jealousy came upon him. It's natural. Man is not supposed to just be chilling while his wife is having sex with somebody else. This is just crazy. And I don't want this to become naturalized for us. Now, you might say, well, it never did. Well, people said the stuff that we see happening now will never be naturalized. And here we are today where it is. The world is topsy-turvy. So before we get any further topsy-turvy, people need to speak out and say, no, this is wrong. Let's get this together now. Let's nip this in the bud right now.
Unless he's a C-U-C-K, like Adam 22. That's not normal.
In this situation, the real simp is Jason Love. It ain't Adam 22. Jason Love is the cut.
Now she was saying that the simp and the cuck is Adam 22, right? And she was pointing out why, because no man should even want to see or go through nothing like that with his wife. But Oshay is pointing out, saying, no, we missing the whole thing the whole time. We being tricked. It's really this guy that's being taken advantage of, because they using him to make the money. They could have got anybody, other person to do this. It wouldn't even have been a topic. Wouldn't have been if he'd have got some other white guy to do this, nobody would have been talking about that. But he got this black guy, this big buff black guy that we see talking trash about what he did to this man's wife. And the more he go and talk trash, and the more he does this, the more money Adam 22 is making.
You got used, bruh. You ain't gonna have no power after this. The white man got all the power.
So after a week or so, these two decided to do an interview. And he asked his wife about how she felt about doing this scene. And in my honest opinion, she seemed a little too eager and a little too happy to do this. And I'm sure he felt the pain, because I saw him cringing
we
through
seen
this,
that on the other
just
clip.
like her.
And that's why
I'm
I
just
put that
like,
up there. He was talking about how she was saying, "Oh no, and I don't gotta do it, baby." And but then we see the clip, and she was excited, like, "Guess what I'm about to do? Yeah." And she was all pumped and excited about it, right? And you sitting there because you thinking about making money and just trying to just ignore all of this. This is crazy.
Obviously, y'all both were very uncomfortable with it.
Don't you tell me it was just sex, because you were attracted to him all along. That's
David, I did it for you.
Don't you tell me you did it for me. You did it for yourself.
That's a lie.
You were dying to do it.
It's a lie. I would never do this for myself. It was all for you.
Oh, don't lie to me. You were attracted to him.
Obviously, it bothered him, and she's trying to make an excuse for it because she's not very proud of this decision. That's just my honest opinion.
Because she is actually clips later with him wilding out. I couldn't edit it and put it in here like I wanted to because I was running out of time and I didn't want it to go over. But it's actually clips with him wilding out like Woody was, going off. "Oh, this is my wife. And he said back like, "Dude, you wanted the bag. You was all about the money." But at the end of the day, I just don't want this to become a thing.
About it, because why are you trying to make all these excuses for him, trying to say that he doesn't look a certain way, when in reality that's exactly what it is. He allowed you to sleep with another man, which outside of your marriage is disgraceful, showing in fact that this does bother him to the core, not because he loves his wife and he regrets the decision, but because his manhood has been brought into question.
And that's the whole thing. He angry for the wrong. He not angry because of his decision, what he did. As he said earlier, he felt like it was a good decision to make because he thinking about the money. He got angry when the brother started going on his tour, doing interviews, talking trash about his wife and his manhood, talking about 7 years and all this, that, other. He know they was personal attacks on him. And that's when he had to come out and speak up and said enough is enough. And he on there selling wolf tickets.
What real man allows his wife, even a corn star, to sleep with another man?
Exactly. So that's basically it for the day. That was my take on the whole thing. I don't want this to go viral. Like we seen with the sex tapes things that was happening, and once people seen how Kim Kardashian blew up, that everybody said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it too." Or people say, "Oh, you can make, oh, I can make money doing that too," right? And unfortunately, as Oshay pointed out, a lot of times when we see our oppressors doing stuff, we take from them and say, "Okay, we can do it too, and we can make money this way too." And all this kind of stuff too. And this is one of those situations that we need to just let that just be on them. We can't do this too. Because being the people of the Almighty, we already going through because of the curses, right? And the curses was brought about because of breaking the Torah. So why further dig our feet into the dirt and break even more mitzvot, even more commandments, and think everything gonna be all right? Can't do it. So it says, thou shalt not commit adultery. Don't do it. Don't get yourself caught up thinking he who without sin and all this other stuff and trying to just go on and do this stuff is wrong. We can't do it. We got to get the word out to our youth and just let it be known that this is wrong and you can't do it before this becomes something normalized and people do it, right? So it's wrong, you can't do it. All right, so hopefully that message was made clear. Just wanted to deal with this issue because I was looking at the whole thing. I loved how Black Girl Speaks broke it down, and also love how Oshay did his thing, and that's what made me really focus on it. Because when I seen Oshay's video and I seen how we mimic so much of what our oppressors do, I'm like, nah, we can't get caught up in this type of mess. Like Apostle Shaul made it clear when a situation like this was happening within the community at Corinth, where the man was sleeping with his father's wife. He was like, already judged and I'm not there. Like, no, y'all gotta put him out the camp. He gotta go. Gotta go. Can't have nothing like that happening in the community. We can't let stuff, that's what we gotta do. We let too much stuff fly and ride in the community. If we building ourselves back up to be the people of the Almighty that we supposed to be, and certain things happen in the community, we gotta be like, no, that's not happening in our community. And we gotta just shun them. We don't got the power to do any of those other things because only the Beit Din or the House of Judgment can pronounce the law, pronounce the verdicts and the rulings that's supposed to happen to people and the punishments. For the most part, all we can do is say, you out of here, we not dealing with you. We not dealing with you in our community. That's how we deal with that. We gotta put those things away. As it says, come out of her, my people. Come out of her, my people. We gotta come out of Babylon. All right, so that's pretty much the show for tonight. I'm happy that you guys bared with me. My apologies for not being on yesterday. I know many of y'all was waiting for this for yesterday, but I was under the weather. And I kept trying to shake it off and kept pushing the time back and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do this tomorrow. So I'm so happy that you guys was able to tune in. You guys was able to still be with me. My brother Tony was on here, and my sister Michelle was on here, and others that I might don't notice on here that's just on here in silence, just watching. So appreciate you all for being with me tonight and stand up with me to 11:30. Kept my promise. It ain't go as long as the other one did, but it made that 2-hour mark. But that's because we had a lot going on with the breaking news. There was a lot of stuff that I wanted to focus on in there, which was why we didn't have our current of the month. We're gonna have the current of the month next week for you. We didn't have the current of the month because I wanted to focus on our sister Sandra Bland, and I also wanted to focus on our sister Tawanda Jones. Big up for her. Thank her for what she's continuing to do in the community, just as she continues to just pray for protection over her, as she continues to fight this good fight and bring about justice in this corrupt system that we find ourselves in. All right, so with that being said and done, appreciate all you for being on here with me again. My name is Rosh Ya'acob Ben Avraham, Rabbi Gethsemane Spiritual Temple Congregation. We focus on Torah knowledge. And I want to bid you all shalom. Shema Yisrael.